Almost didn't recognize you. Sweet new ride.
Thanks.
Would you get a promotion? Wait, are you our boss now?
You're the boss. I'm gonna need more vacation days.
Oh, can I call in sick today?
Guys, I don't have that kind of power, but I can park this car with my mind.
Now you're just showing off.
Lease the first ever all-wheel drive Infiniti QX30 crossover at your local Infiniti retailer.
What do we think of our new home?
This whole building's ours?
No, we're just on one floor.
We're one of 5 apartments on one floor.
Oh, so we're poorer than we were.
The Detour, all new Tuesdays at 10 on TBS.
Peter is not smart when it comes to wearing sunscreen, but at least he was smart with his tires. He bought his Continental tires on TireRack.com. Right now, you could get a $70 Visa prepaid card when you buy a set of 4 select Continental tires. For details, go to TireRack.com. That's smart. And so, of course, would have been sunscreen. TireRack.com. Find, deliver, install. Smarter.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Infiniti, Subway Restaurants, State Farm, and by ExxonMobil.
Getting ready for second half action in Orlando and a one-point game. Let's check out our all-state first half stats. Xavier goes 3 of 9 from three-point territory. Maryland 5 of 16. Musketeers out rebounding the Terps 18 to 13, but Mark Turgeon was happy with that number. The bench has provided a lift for Xavier. Some storylines in that first half. Trayvon Blewett averages 18 points per game. Blewett held in check in the first half. That was his only bucket, and it was a three-pointer for Xavier. 1 of 8 from the field. Melo Trimble, 7 points in the first half for Maryland. Ian Eagle rejoining you along with the coach, Steve Lavin, Evan Washburn on the sidelines. What are the coaching points for this second half in a tight one, Maryland and Xavier?
Well, I think if you're Chris Mack, you talk to your staff about finding a way, using some ingenuity to deploy Blewett in a manner that allows him to get involved, to see the ball go through the net, whether that's posting him up, involve him in some ball screens, get some elbow catches. And Maryland, it's about continuing to execute as they did late in the first half against Xavier's changing defenses. They had good ball movement, good man movement, and distorted that zone in a variety of ways.
Maryland won a bunch of close games this season, 10 games by 6 points or less. Up top, Herder with the finish. And a great way to open up this second half for the Terps.
Well devised, well executed coming out of the locker room, and a breakdown by Xavier there in terms of communication, loosening up on that ball screen or back screen.
38-35 Maryland. Lacura getting creative, unable to finish with the left hand. Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, I spoke with Chris Mack. Let's start with Trayvon Blewett. He said he has to be more aggressive, but it's that fine line. He can't play rushed. He was really mostly concerned and only concerned with the turnovers. He felt like they were careless. The 8 of them caused 12 points for Maryland. He said we have to clean that up.
They averaged 12.8 per game this season. Maryland trying to build on the lead. Melo Trimble, good-looking jump shot from Trimble. And Maryland has its largest lead, 5.
I go back to that point about great players take you to great heights, and those great players have an instinct to when to take over a game, and that's what we've seen Trimble do here late.
Tyreek Jones got a good look at a short one, but could not get it to drop. '27th appearance in the NCAA tournament for this Maryland program. Won the title in 2002. Herder trying to thread the needle to Dodd. It was deflected out of bounds off of Xavier. 10-0 run bridging the first and second half. Get it in for Cowan. Guarded out front by Gooden. 9 to shoot. Herter makes his move. Herter slapped away by Makura. Did it come off of Herter? That's what Makura thought. And the officials say last touch, Xavier. 5 to shoot.
Got to be a quick hitter here.
Maryland went 4-6 in the final 10 games before the NCAA tournament. That's why there was some concern. Herter short on the 3-ball. Bernard gets it across. Makura, quick jack, no. Rebound, Dodd couldn't grab it. Fight for it. Out of bounds. Off of Xavier, Tyreek Jones.
I think this was going to be off Maryland. Valiant effort, but tough to see. So much respect for officials. They got to call it bang, bang. We get to review it in slow-mo.
This Xavier team suffered through a 6-game losing streak from February 11th to March 1st. Recovered to make the NCAA tournament. Had a big win over Butler in the Big East tournament. Cross-court feed. Herter. The pass inside to Jackson. Loses the ball. Out of bounds. And Xavier takes over.
Yeah, those are shots Herter will learn as he goes through his career, becomes a sophomore. He's better off either jump stopping and shooting. You give it to a teammate like Jackson unexpectedly. He's not ready for it. Put it up there, and he's in good position. Jackson is to tip it in if it does miss.
Steve, you go back to the first half. Xavier has no points over the final 5.5 minutes of game action.
Yep. They have droughts. We see Blewett try and work without the ball.
Good looking shot from Blewett.
Good look, and that's that ingenuity, resourcefulness. It was a stack up high that Xavier employed and allows him to use his teammate as a screener to free himself up for that shot, and a good delivery as well.
Rainbow 3 for Blewett. Trimble can't answer. And it's rebounded by Bernard. Up the floor in a hurry. Blewett swings it to the open man. Good in attack mode. Loses the ball. Jackson comes the other way. The crossover. Herter. Foul called. Herter tried to jam it. And he earns a trip to the free throw line.
How about the ball handling skills by Jackson in the open court? A nice little crossover. Throws the ball out in front. The look away comes back to Herter. Looked like it was a Spalding sandwich, all clean there. Or is it a Wilson sandwich? Not sure what ball we're using tonight. Wilson.
Free throws here for Kevin Herter. Who delivered the Buick expectation-shattering performance of the day? Tune in to Inside March Madness, presented by Buick, and find out.
Good setup by Herter. Wide base, takes his time, an efficient stroke as well.
His dad, Tom, played at Siena when they pulled off an NCAA tournament upset over Stanford back in 1989. Could be a nice family continuation for Herter in this year's tournament as Blewett is starting to find his range.
And it's so interesting. He did the same thing in the Big East tournament in Madison Square Garden. Great second halves, poor first halves.
Trimble, the shake and bake, using the window.
We're seeing two of the best young coaches this evening in terms of the chess match and putting their positions. Good steal.
It's Cowan, picks the pocket, and lays it in. Quentin Gooden loses the ball. Freshman against freshman. And Yvonne Bender's got rhythm. 46-40 Maryland.
Well, that's an example of where Xavier is hurt. And by not having that pure traditional quarterback or point guard on the floor, whether it's breaking pressure or initiating offense.
Foul called out front. Maryland's got its largest lead, 15:43 to play. Second half in Orlando. Mark Turgeon is pumped up.
Everyone loves Taco Bell's iconic Crunch Wrap, and once again, we're taking that love to new heights. The one that got away is back in a big way. The bigger, beefier, triple-double Crunch Wrap. Only at Taco Bell.
On March 24th.
Are you gonna bring the Martian back to Earth?
It's life. Look how fast it's growing. Or death. Let's kill the thing. Life. Rated R.
From the moment you see it, it commands your respect. You can feel its immense power. The only way to master it is to venture inside. Go ahead. Dive in. The GMC Sierra. We are professional grade. Step up to GMC with 17% below MSRP on select Sierra 1500 Crew Cab vehicles in stock. That's nearly $9,200 on this Sierra.
Minute and 20 seconds to go. Kansas and Kentucky down to the wire.
What? The whole street is out.
Over there. Lights.
Look! Come on, that block has power.
Need wiper blades? We've got you covered. The highly trained technicians at Jiffy Lube do more than just oil changes. We also exchange transmission fluid, rotate tires, and more, all in a jiffy. Out of coolant? We've got you covered. The highly trained technicians at Jiffy Lube do more than just oil changes. We also exchange transmission fluid, rotate tires, and more, all in a jiffy.
Well, let's check out the tournament subway. Summary, higher seeds are 7-1 through 8 games. They only upset the 12 seed Middle Tennessee over Minnesota. Gonzaga advances to the round of 32 for the 9th straight year, and Northwestern wins its NCAA tournament debut, and they did it in shocking fashion with Vanderbilt coming up short. An intentional foul late. Northwestern took advantage of it and moves on to the second round, Steve.
What a story for the Wildcats. I always felt the first game of the NCAA tournament was the most difficult to coach because of the nerves, the natural vital signs being north, and just the unfamiliar conditions. That's where experience, both coaches and players, is so important.
Bernard a three. Malcolm Bernard. Jack of all trades for this Xavier squad has cut the Maryland lead to 3.
I have such admiration for this particular Musketeer squad. And it's not just because of my allegiance or bias to the Big East, having coached there for 5 years at St. John's. It's because this group, through adversity, has continued to reinvent itself. We're seeing players that earlier in the year didn't have a role on this team, and here they are in the NCAA competing against a good Maryland team.
Herder couldn't finish it for Maryland. Terps up by 3. Just over 5 minutes gone by. Second half. OMara gets a touch. Big body against big body. OMara. Foul called on DeMonte Dodd. And that's the third on the Terps big man.
Well, that's an example. Xavier showing OMara that they have confidence in him. They're throwing him the ball as though he's a go-to low-post player. And as a result, he's playing with more confidence.
He has not missed a shot. 4 of 4 from the field, now 4 of 4 at the free throw line. From executive producer Rashida Jones comes TNT's wickedly dark and wildly entertaining new series, Claws. Catch the series premiere this summer on TNT.
And I'd even argue this is Chris Mack's greatest coaching run these past 6 weeks. When you talk about the adversity off the court, the injuries they've dealt with, really his finest hour as a coach on display over the past 6 weeks.
They were ranked in the top 15 early in the season, but as you just mentioned, the injury. That's a miss by Bender.
Well, good look by Maryland there, just didn't pay it off. Bender's got to make those bunnies, but good attack against the zone. High-low.
Gooden drives. That hits. Quentin Gooden helping to trigger a 7-0 run for Xavier, and they regain the lead.
Well, another bloodied but unbowed basketball team that we're watching here tonight. They've been beat up, been through adversity, still competing.
Jackson, left hand. Justin Jackson showing off the tool set.
I like his poise, demeanor, and composure as well.
12 points for Jackson. 48-47, Maryland. Run it through OMara. Kick it. Makira three. Bodies flying. And a foul called against Xavier.
Maryland going to use some switching on the perimeter against the ball screen action, trying to level off the Musketeers' ability to turn the corner.
It's the first foul on Blewett. Second team foul against the Musketeers. 1 point lead for Maryland. Cowan and Trimble in the backcourt. Cowan bounces. They lost Bender on the baseline. Yvonne Bender with a deuce.
Boy, some good screening. Again, the high-low looks alternating. Players flashing into that high post area.
Penetration, Gooden, kick it out. Open look for Blewett. He nails it. It's a triple. Trayvon Blewett from deep.
Oh, Blewett sent it up to the clouds. Put some air under that one, the rainbow jumper.
He's got 8 in the half. We're tied at 50. Cowan playing catch with Trimble. His jumper, no good. Rebound ripped down by Blewett. Gooden gets Xavier into its offense.
I wonder if they feed Blewett something at halftime. Is it like Little League or soccer? He gets the fresh sliced oranges? Or
oh, those are good.
Boy, critical.
We're in Florida. That would make sense. OMara, the back in. OMara, body contact. And it will count either way because Herder got it after it hit the backboard on the way down.
Well, OMara suddenly a force on the low post in the late stages of the season. The confidence to take tough shots. That one was going in regardless off the glass from this view, but the goaltend call in effect.
It is a new career high for Sean OMara. 5 of 5 from the field, 5 of 5 at the free throw line. He exits the game with Xavier up by 2.
Making the most of his opportunity. I applaud him.
12 minutes to play in regulation. 2-point lead for Xavier. Nickens back in for Maryland. Trimble drives in. Couldn't finish.
Well, those are good looks. Mark Turgeon putting his team in position to get great shots on rim, just not finishing.
Gooden motors out of bounds. Turnover Xavier. They step aside with 11:42 to play. A tight one in Orlando.
Come on, please miss this. Please miss this.
Down to a free throw.
There you go, guys.
What is this?
That's a voodoo doll. You know, it's a big shot.
Voodoo doll.
Right, yeah. Okay, got his arm.
Oh, no. It's a miss, but, oh, man.
Put it back. Put it back.
What is that? His hip? His pelvis?
I'm just trying to
Well, then he at least needs to be symmetrical.
We could have a bit of a delay, but we'll be back with overtime.
You are always here. In the minute, the moment, and the madness. You get up early and stay late. You wear the paint on your faces and your hearts on your sleeves. And you know it's not about where you finish. It's about where you begin. And no matter where your journey takes you, we'll be there too. Marriott, official hotel of the NCAA. Book this minute at Marriott.com.
But I really think the accessory sales are really going to...
You're stuck in Cherry Sales Review. Yeah. But there's like a boatload of games on this afternoon, and you don't want to miss a thing.
With DirecTV from AT&T, you can stream all your live NCAA March Madness games on your devices.
Q3's looking pretty weak. Shallow.
Get DirecTV for $25 a month when you have the new AT&T Unlimited Plus plan.
It's not easy to brew a beer this easy to drink. Bud Light is tasted by brewmasters every step of the process. It's a tough job, but for you and your friends, it's worth it. We don't just brew beer. We brew beer for friends.
Come on.
The moment you realize you have a one-person vanity but a four-person family.
At Lowe's, we have the latest styles and trends to fit your budget. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's.
Hurry into the Lowe's Kitchen and Bath event for up to 40% off.
Let's start with Lowe's for these memorable moments. Winning one championship is hard. 2 in a row puts you in rare company. In 2007, Florida had 4 players score double figures to beat Ohio State, giving Billy Donovan his second straight title. Lowe's, official corporate partner of the NCAA.
This is Adam Zucker in New York with a tournament update. Over on True TV, final seconds of the first half for Purdue. It's P.J. Thompson with the pull-up. They had trailed Vermont by 8. They take the lead into the break as we go back to Ian, Steve, and Evan.
And Adam, the winner there, will take a winner of Iowa State and Nevada, still to come on True TV. 11:42 to play in this second half in Orlando. 52-50. Xavier, the 11 seed in the West region, leading number 6 seed Maryland. Terps with the basketball. L.G. Gill, transfer from Duquesne, now in there for Maryland.
Maryland sending cutters through that high post area, working the high-low angle as well.
Jalen Brantley in the backcourt with Trimble.
Now this is the 1-3-1 look. Sometimes the 2-3 morphs into a 1-3-1 look.
Trimble to spin, loses the ball, out of bounds. Follow Bleacher Report on Instagram and get the coolest sports content before anybody else. Join millions of others and follow Bleacher Report on Instagram right now. Xavier up by 2. We'll hit the 11-minute mark of this second half.
See if they go back to Blewett. Try and play through the hot hand.
We've had 6 lead changes. Largest cushion has been 9 for Xavier. Blewett, a 3. He's heating up.
Yeah, good execution again. Blewett with confidence, probably psychological now because he's been Superman in the second half of so many games. There's an expectation that he's going to take over in the late stages.
It's a 15-4 run for the Musketeers. They lead by 5.
The Dunk King, MVP, no rookie. You thought I only ball, haha, you mistook me. Oreo, I love these Milky cookies. Show us your dunk with hashtag Oreo Dunk Sweepstakes.
What up, front desk person? Any buzzer beaters yet? Basketball. Oh, you let me know. Thanks.
The sub above difference is time tested. Because we know there's only one way to make an original Italian. And we've stuck to it since 1956. Any questions? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Since the beginning, there's been one pioneering light, illuminating the path for others to follow. The distinctive Audi LED technology, designed to see and be seen. This is how an Audi earns its rings. LED technology, found in the Audi A6. Get an exceptional offer at your local Audi dealer.
The Lexus Command Performance Sales Event is here, where the thrill, power,
and precision will last. But the offers will not. Experience the exhilaration of our most track-tuned vehicles ever, including the IS, GS, and RC Coupe during the Lexus Command Performance Sales Event. But be fast, this event ends March 31st.
Lease the 2017 IS 300 all-wheel drive for $319 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
And take a look at this three-man basketball. We're going to watch as Gaston passes to Gooden, and then Gaston's going to go set a down screen for Blewett, who's in the corner, and that frees him up with just enough daylight to be able to get the shot off. Blewett 4 of 4 in the second half because of well-devised and well-executed alignments to get him involved. He's feeling it.
He was 1 of 8 in the first half, held to 3 points. Yet Xavier was down by only a point at the break to Maryland. Now the Musketeers are up by 5. Out of the timeout, Jackson gives it up to Trimble. Melo Trimble is 5 of 12 from the field, 1 of 7 from three-point territory. High screen from Bender, releases from it, couldn't get it to him. Shot clock is winding down. Jackson the drive, the flip, off the mark. Ball knocked around, out of bounds. Should have been a shot clock violation either way.
Good defense there by Xavier. Contested shot by Maryland. But they've had their fair share of open looks, just haven't been able to convert. It's not an issue with Maryland's alignments, it's more being able to finish. That was a poor shot in terms of selection.
Half court set here for Xavier. Catch and shoot. Blewett again. Trayvon Blewett is smoking hot. 58-50. The extended run is 18-4 for Xavier.
And now Xavier in that man-to-man again, keeping the Terps off balance by giving different looks.
Herder lost it. Trimble. He got hit down low by Malcolm Bernard. Third foul on Bernard.
When you've got a hot hand, prudent basketball is to go back, feel it, heat check. Tickling Twine and Blewett, a second half performer, the closer of late for the Musketeers, playing the best basketball of his career, Ryan.
Let's get a report from Evan Washburn. Evan?
Well, guys, 2 things from Mark Turgeon's huddle. Defensively, initially the current concern was OMara in their post defense. Now things have obviously shifted to shading out towards Blewett. And secondarily, Coach, to your point, he wants guys not to settle offensively. Only 2 free throw attempts in this second half. They had 13 in the first.
Maryland in desperate need of a bucket. Right through the hands of Trimble. Turnover, Terps.
A big shift in momentum, and Xavier has seized the moment. Plenty of time on Maryland enough to settle down some. Unforced turnover there, just passing and catching.
In the second half, Trayvon Blewett, 14 points. The rest of the Xavier squad has 9. Largest lead of the night for the Musketeers has been 9. Makura sets it up. Jump shot for Gates. He's got it. Locked and loaded. Xavier has its largest cushion.
And so many compelling stories here tonight for the Musketeers. OMara, Gates, obviously Blewett again in the second half. That's expected, but the other contributors not as expected coming into this game.
The miss by Bender. Herder could not get the follow, and a foul called against the Terps.
It's a group that just continues to flex their muscles. Makura along the baseline, navigating and delivering the dime to Gates for the catch and shoot opportunity. Coach Mack has to be pleased. Again, plenty of time for Maryland to counterpunch here. They're going to go to the 1-2-2 full court pressure, trying to take the Musketeers out of rhythm.
It's a 14-0 run for Xavier. Back in 2004, Xavier played in Orlando. They beat Louisville and Mississippi State to advance to the Sweet 16. Kick it out for Gooden. The 3, no. Gaston got his hands on it. Out of bounds as Blewett attempted to save it and has some personal time with the Xavier band. Watch live games on your computer, phone, or tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness or download the app today.
Well, Blewett goes to the bench to catch a blow before the 8-minute timeout. They'll be able to get these 22 seconds and that timeout where he can recharge. Maryland needs something good to happen to them at this point. They need a successful possession to start to feel good about themselves.
Coming up on 5 minutes without a point for Maryland. Between the legs, Jackson sticks the J.
Well, that's just what the doctor orders. Jackson fluid off the bounce and can play inside and out. Good call by Mark Turgeon.
So that was a 5-minute and 2-second stretch without scoring for the Terps. Gates, hot hand, no. Dodd, the box out of Gaston. 61-52.
You want to explore in transition. If you don't have the numbers, run a set. Give yourself a chance to get a good look at the bucket, get fouled, or play inside out. Don't settle.
Herter comes to the ball with 14 to shoot. Jackson clears it with 10. Timer is down to 7. Herter whips it to the other side. Cowan makes his move. A 3 on the way. Jackson, no. Rebounded by Gooden. Empty trip for Maryland. We approach 7 minutes to play, and Chris Mack will use a timeout.
He'll likely put Blewett back in the game here, Ryan.
61-52. Xavier in front.
For years, I've trained dogs for the Marines. And like me, some of these dogs have seen many tours of duty. And for the past 15 years, I've been a Navy Federal member. Thanks to their fast approval process, when it came time to buy a new car, we got everything we needed to transport my wife's little bundle of joy. Who I just adore.
Open to the armed forces, the DoD, veterans, and their families. Navy Federal Credit Union.
Welcome back, Grandma. Wow.
I did a lot of shopping in Italy, and I met a nice man.
Ciao. Gino.
Gino.
Da Italia.
He's Italian.
Vieni qua.
Buick now has an SUV for that. The new Buick Envision. One of 3 luxury SUVs from the new Buick.
Buick celebrates March Madness. Get a sweet 16% below MSRP on select 2017 Buick SUVs in stock. That's over $6,600 on this 2017 Envision.
The following ad is being condensed for your viewing convenience.
So I just switched to Geico. What took you so long? I know, I saved a ton of money on car insurance.
That's what I'm talking about.
Geico also gives you 24/7 access to licensed agents. Good game, you really crushed it.
No, son. Geico crushed it.
Any guy can wear a hat, but only you can turn heads in one. You got something. Own it and smell great with new Axe U, a unique masculine fragrance.
Half-price shakes and ice cream slushes after 8?
Looks like a lot of people really got the memo.
Totally. I got the memo.
That's a cherry stem. That's a cherry stem.
Get shakes and new ice cream slushes for half price after 8 p.m. This is how you Sonic.
61-52, Xavier, the 11th seed in the West, leading Maryland, the 6th seed. Second half three-point shooting, the Terps have come up empty, 0 of 4. Xavier has extended that rebounding margin, and something that Xavier does about as well as anybody in the country. Chris Mack, just look at the consistency and the heavy hitters on this list. Last 12 seasons, NCAA tournament appearances.
Well, and a big advantage when you go on a consistent basis because there are no voyage maidens except for maiden voyages.
Either way.
But you understood. You picked right up on it. You're dyslexic like I am. Transposing left and right. But good slip by Blewett and a great delivery by Gooden. Pretty two-man basketball again, playing in pairs, almost like a dance. Astaire and Rogers. How's that?
Good, very.
Can't go wrong with those two. Footwork.
Under 7 minutes to play and a foul called. 11-point lead for Xavier.
But the advantage is, other than the incoming freshmen in the program, everyone else has been to the tournament. Coaching staff and all returning players. And so it's only the first-year players that have to come up to speed, but they've got enough around them to help them with that transition into tournament play.
And they're not getting one-and-dones. These are guys that grow within the program.
Good point.
Team fouls 4 against Xavier. That's the 4th personal on Bernard. The lead is 11 for the Musketeers. Having trouble with the zone right now. Cowan, watched by Macura. That's deep. Herder, he's got it. Kevin Herder, 16 in his NCAA tournament debut.
You get the feeling that the Terps have another run in them to close the gap here. Trimble will have to step up down the stretch, as he has so many times in his career.
OMara sets the screen for Blewett. They double team him. Macura 3, grazes the rim. OMara tracks it down. Macura again. That's off the mark. And Trimble is fouled on the rebound. Blewett got his body in there, and it's his 2nd personal.
Wow. Herder lines one up, no hesitation. A freshman with some courage. Wants the ball in tough situations. Impressive.
63-55 Xavier. These were the last 2 teams announced on Selection Sunday. Trimble drives, dishes, Dodd the layup, no, but a foul. DeMonte Dodd will shoot a pair.
Well, on defense, Trimble gets a rebound here after the dribble weave and a little ball screen out of it. The nice drive and the delivery to Dodd, just not able to finish.
It's the 3rd foul on Blewett. And DeMonte Dodd is 1 out of 2 at the free throw line. His only point of the night. First one's good. From Centerville, Maryland. Team that went to the Sweet 16 last year, fell to Kansas in Louisville. Kansas eventually lost to the champion of 2016, Villanova.
That 2nd free throw hurts for a couple reasons. One is it's a point that should be on the board to cut into the deficit, but also Maryland can't set their full court pressure against a team in Xavier that doesn't have a pure point guard.
7-point lead for Xavier. We approach 5 minutes to play in the 2nd half. Blewett frees himself. It's a 3. And a foul called on the rebound action against Maryland. And that's number 3 on Herder. 4th team foul against the Terps. Herder made contact with Macura. Malcolm Bernard back in. He's playing with 4 fouls. Kaiser Gates takes a seat for Xavier. Lob it in for Bernard.
Xavier looks to score on their out-of-bounds plays.
Macura got hit on a 3-ball. He gets helped up by his head coach, Chris Mack. 2nd foul on Trimble. He extended out and tried to close in on Macura.
Well, some teams just try and get the ball in bounds and then set up an offense. Xavier, on their baseline out-of-bounds plays, is aggressive on their catches, and as a result, more productive than teams that just try and get the ball in bounds.
And how frustrating was that for you as a coach when fouls were called on 3-point shots?
Well, frustrating because that's a cardinal rule in basketball. It's basically body balance. You know, you want high hands, you want to contest, take away airspace, and you don't want to leave the feet be off balance where you can foul a jump shooter.
Macura missing on the first 2 attempts, steps away from the line briefly 80% on the season. He is 0 of 3 tonight. Misses that one. No points on the trip for Xavier. That turns out to be a great foul by Trimble.
Well executed by Mark Turgeon. Surprising change.
A steal. Makura lays it in. Defense from Xavier turns into offense. And the lead is 9 for the Musketeers.
Well, that's a big sequence right there because Maryland caught a break with the hat trick 0 for 3 from the line by Makura. And then they turn it over and it leads to a run out.
Cowan feeds to Jackson. Intercepted, trying to hit Herder on a cut to the rim.
Yeah, didn't turn and face. Jackson be better facing the basket where he might have a shot. If the pass is open, you look for it. If not, keep it moving.
Herder's got some blood that they have to deal with. The officials stop play. And Herder will be taken care of. It's on the right hand of the freshman Kevin Herder. Now they're going to have to substitute. That may take some further work. Herder is trying to get himself back into the game here. Jalen Brantley checks in. And Herder will wait for the next dead ball. 65-56 Xavier. 4:20 to play. Winner goes to the second round. Back in. OMara. Miss his first.
Getting to the point now where Maryland needs some productive possessions.
Body bump. Tipping goes Bender following the miss by Trimble.
Yeah, and Bender's opportunity came as a result of Trimble's drive and drawing the Musketeers to help. Bender slides in for the putback.
The door still very much open. It's a 7-point game. Trimble takes the hit and a foul on Blewett. Number 4 on Trayvon Blewett. Big call at the 3:43 mark. Xavier's got the lead. Makura making the play on both ends of the floor. 65-58 in Orlando.
It's a good thing that you're working with Humana and your doctor to maintain your health, because in 5 days, 10 hours, and 2 minutes, you are going to be 67. And on that day, you will walk into a room where 15 people will be waiting, 12 behind the sofa, 2 behind the table, and 1.5 behind a curtain. But only one of them will make a lifelong dream come true. Great things are ahead of you when your health is ready for them. At Humana, we can help you with a personalized plan for your health for years to come.
Remember when everything you did was for the fun of doing it? BMW's xDrive intelligent all-wheel drive technology senses traction loss and automatically shifts torque to the wheels that need it, so you can go wherever the fun takes you. And now it's available on more models than ever. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Lease a BMW X5 xDrive 35i for $599 a month.
Coming this spring from the brand known for power, STIHL Lightning Battery System. Designed to get more out of a single charge. Search STIHL Battery. What can you do on a single charge?
Our phones are extensively tested, retested, and then tested again. Innovation is our legacy. Quality is our priority.
These two could be a problem. They can hit from anywhere.
They're going down.
We got a plan for them.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
These two could be a problem. They can hit from anywhere.
They're going down.
We got a plan for them.
Talk to an agent for help combining your home and auto into a plan that's right for you. Here to help life go right. State Farm.
For those who follow this Xavier program, Bill Murray, it's well known how big a fan he is. His son Luke is an assistant coach on Chris Mack's staff. Bill travels all over the country as part of Musketeer Faithful.
And Luke Murray, one of the bright young stars in the coaching profession, learning the trade, the craft under Chris Mack here at Xavier. Bright future. And Bill Murray picks up the tab, too. He's very generous on those road trips as part of the posse for the Musketeers.
Trimble a three. Short. Rebound. Malcolm Bernard for Xavier. Have you benefited from the Bill Murray expense account?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, the year I was out with cancer, Bill Murray actually was one of the first to call.
That's wonderful.
And it says a lot about him and his family.
Jump shot for Gates. Rims out. Back tap Gates. He's got it for Xavier. They trap him. Gates goes down. It's a travel with 3:07 to play. Maryland gets the ball back down by 7.
Gates trying to protect the ball late in the game, just not able to keep his feet. Good harassment by the Terps defensively.
3 minutes left. 65-58. Xavier. Trimble going at the big man OMara, who now backs up. Jackson on the bounce. Trimble, ball fake. Contact with Gooden. Trimble hooks around him and is fouled.
That's what Trimble will have to do down the stretch. Probe and investigate, and look to be aggressive on his catches. Here behind the back, just able to get an angle. Gooden with the foul, not happy, but the right one.
Steve, it's Melo Trimble's first free throw attempt of the night, and it rims out. What's at stake here? A spot in the second round. The final matchup of the night here in Orlando, Florida State against Florida Gulf Coast. Still to come on TNT. Trimble, 1 out of 2. It's a 6-point game with 2:47 left.
Well, this sets their defense. They can look to trap opportunistically. The kick by Jackson.
Check in with Evan Washburn. Evan?
Well, guys, I just wanted to follow up with something from that last Mac huddle, because we've seen Xavier shift to man. He wanted Gooden on Trimble because he sensed at this time of the game it's going to be ball-dominant Melo Trimble, and they really want to shade out to him. Something to watch.
All right, Evan. Sweet 16 6 times for the Xavier program since 2004. Double team on Bernard. He gets rid of it. Blew it. Gets it a hand into the forecourt. And a timeout taken by Xavier. Bernard was in trouble out near the midcourt stripe. And he's limping to the Xavier bench. 65-59 Musketeers.
What if this didn't have to happen? I didn't see it. What if we could go back? What if our car could stop itself?
In IIHS front-end crash prevention testing, nobody beats the Subaru Impreza. Not Toyota, not Honda, not Ford. The all-new Subaru Impreza. More than a car, it's a Subaru.
There was a reaction here in the arena when Xavier didn't get it across. What the fans didn't realize is that the shot clock resets on a kickball. So the kickball reset, not the shot clock, but the 10-second portion getting it across the line. Xavier did get it across in the right amount of time. 65-59 Musketeers.
See if Maryland continues to trap. Going to fall back now into their man-to-man.
Shot clock is down to 5. Blew it, and a bailout. They had nothing going in that offensive set. And Herter gets charged with a foul way out front. They're going to get it on Trimble. It is Trimble. Number 3 on Trimble. It's the 6th team foul for Maryland, so Xavier has it on the side. No free throws, but shot clock at 30. It was down to 5. On the trigger, Brantley grabbed Gooden. 2 free throws for Quentin Gooden.
Well, these two getting the horns locked up like the Animal Planet here. It's the old crafty veteran move. John Stockton was one of the best at that in the history of basketball. Wrap your arms up into opponent to get yourself to the foul line. Little theatrics as well.
Xavier, 8 of 14 at the free throw line. This is a freshman who shoots 55%. Quentin Gooden. It's good. 66-59. Musketeers.
Important that Maryland gets attacks on the rim where they could not only get themselves the foul line, shoot high percentage shots, but draw fouls, stop the clock, be able to convert, and then set your defense.
Gooden hits them both. Could it be Groundhog Day for Xavier advancing in the NCAA tournament? 67-59.
I caught that.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
It's not broken flowers.
Very good.
We're lost in translation on me.
Travel called on Trimble, and things are fracturing right now for Maryland.
Well, somewhat discombobulated here. I think the different looks have unnerved Maryland, and give Chris Mack credit, changing the looks. Man-to-man, the 2-3 that morphs into a 1-3-1. Their on-ball coverage has changed throughout the game as well.
Xavier holds onto it. Bernard nearly gave it away with 2:08 to play. Change here. Kaiser Gates back in. He replaces Bernard.
This is where Xavier plays point guard by committee. They're trying to transport the ball through the air more than the bounce because they don't have the traditional point guard.
Blew it to Makura. Pressure defense. Loop it ahead. Gates to the rim. Kaiser Gates. The major throwdown. It's a 10-point lead for Xavier. We are under 2 minutes to play.
Well devised. Attack pressure by going baseline to baseline for a score of your own.
Herder a 3. Yes! Kevin Herder. Way downtown. He's got unlimited range. And it's a 7-point game with 1:47 left. A timeout taken.
On the Gulf Coast, new ExxonMobil projects are expected to create over 45,000 jobs. And each job created by the energy industry supports 2 others in the community. Altogether, the industry supports over 9 million jobs nationwide. These are jobs that natural gas is helping make happen, all while reducing America's emissions. Energy lives here.
Each team with a timeout remaining. We've got 1:47 on the clock. Xavier with possession in front, 69-62. The possession arrow also favors the Musketeers. 17 fouls against Maryland. Still a little early, though, to play the foul game, no?
Well, you go for the steal initially off the inbound or get a 5-second call, then look to trap. And be interesting to see what Mark Turgeon, if he has confidence, there's the foul.
And that was based on an aggressive play by Bender looking for the steal, not looking to foul Makura.
Yeah, that's what I like to do, but again, Mark Turgeon knows his personnel because he's with them on a daily basis in practice and games. But to me, late game, be aggressive, because worst case scenario is we lengthen the game and you put someone at the foul line and hope they miss from there. That's what Jimmy V did with that great Wolfpack team that went on to win the national title.
Makura has taken an offer at the stripe until that one. Xavier up by 8. Two out of 2 for Makura. 71-62.
threes only if it comes in a natural way off of creating.
Trimble, back of the iron, rebounded by Makura. Under a minute and a half to play now.
And now you have to foul.
And Herter does. Quentin Gooden will go to the free throw line. Unless something happened there. Looked like Herter fouled Gooden. With 1:24 left. Shot clock has been reset. They're considering it a turnover by Gooden. Herter a three. Rebounded by Trimble. Maryland still with life, but they can't find the rim. Free throws for Melo Trimble.
There was the offensive foul on Herter.
This was Herter slapping at the ball.
Well, travel.
A travel was called on Gooden. Trimble at the stripe. Short. Melo Trimble is 1 of 3 at the free throw line. As a team, Maryland is 13 of 18. He goes 1 out of 2.
The struggles of late have been at the offensive end of the floor. Coach Turgeon not happy with his defense either. But in this stretch of 4 out of 6 losses, Maryland at 65 points per game, and they're right on track to be about that number again.
Blewett is fouled in the backcourt. And Trayvon Blewett is a 75% shooter. Chris Mack just had something to say to his young point guard, Quentin Gooden, for that travel in the backcourt. Blewett, slow start, struggled in the first half, picked it up in the second half. That's when Xavier jumped out in front. 17 points in the second half for Trayvon Blewett. He lost 20 pounds in the offseason, preparing for his junior year out of Indianapolis. Hits on a pair. It's a 10-point lead for Xavier. Trimble using the screen. Brantley lines it up. Misses it for three-point territory. Makura couldn't grab it. OMara does, and a foul given with 1:03. Maryland is running out of time. And Xavier can seal the deal at the free throw line.
We talked about Xavier and their defenses morphing from 2-3 to 1-3-1 to man-to-man, different looks, but really their entire team has morphed. Coming into the year, they expected to have both Miles Davis at some point, and of course, never expected to lose Sumner. So we see OMara back rim one. But to retool in midseason, reinvent yourself again, I go back to Chris Mack and his staff. Well, they lost 7 out of 10 games. Here they are, close to advancing if they can hold on and salt this victory away in the NCAA tournament.
It's an 11 seed on the brink of advancing in the West region. 74-63, under a minute left. Using a lot of clock. Herter lets it fly. 3-ball, no good. OMara with the board, protects it. And more free throws for the Musketeers with 50.8 on the clock. March sadness for Maryland. OMara has had the best offensive game of his career. $17 points for Sean OMara.
Well, and keep in mind, last week, Xavier had a win over Butler in the Big East Conference tournament. The top 4 seed.
That may have been what put them over the top in the eyes of the committee, Steve.
Yep, because the only other wins of late were against DePaul. They benefited by picking up some wins against last-place Blue Demons, which doesn't really build your confidence. But a win over Butler here tonight against Maryland, impressive.
Herder feeds it inside, and the finish for Bender. 42.1 on the clock, 76-65. Xavier. Get it in for Gates. They pressure in the backcourt. Blewett tosses it ahead. Makura in no rush, and Maryland is not fouling. Xavier fans on their feet. They're 20 seconds away from moving on to the second round. They'll take the shot clock violation with 11 seconds left. Chris Mack, what a tremendous job he's done year in and year out with this program. And they are a big-time program. The consistency.
Well, I think he managed the adversity off the court as well as the on-the-court challenges as well as any coach possibly could.
Xavier, once again, earns its stripes. 76-65. The Musketeers are moving on to the second round. Mini-Mac in celebration mode. Maryland is out. Win or go home. And it's Xavier that gets the W. The number 11 seed. It doesn't feel like an upset, though, Steve. I know 11-6, the natural thing to say, oh, it's an upset. It doesn't feel that way.
Well, you could tell yesterday Mark Turgeon had some concerns about this matchup against the Musketeers, and it played out.
Final score, Xavier 76, Maryland 65. The Musketeers advance in Orlando. Tournament games continue right now on CBS, TBS, and True TV. Coming up on TNT, Florida Gulf Coast against Florida State. We'll send it to our studio, Capital One Tournament Central. Coming up for Steve Lavin, Evan Washburn, Ian Eagle. So long from Orlando.
LG InstaView door-and-door refrigerator.